Hello, welcome back to another episode on the Beginner's Guide. In this episode, we are going to be using our villagers from the breeder over there, and we're going to be creating the most broken mechanic in the whole of the game. And this is the trading hall. The trading hall can give you pretty much anything you could ever want, or anything you could ever need, including a full diamond suit of armor and a full set of equipment, and the enchants to go on it as well. So, although this episode is part of the Beginner's Guide series, it is also a standalone episode, which means if you haven't seen the previous episodes, it doesn't matter. You can watch this one and you can still build it. So, once again, I have my ingredients chest here. On the left here, these are the requirements per villager. This is all you need to house one villager. Bearing in mind, you might want to have kind of 20, 25, 30 villagers. Your base and your ideas, you might have a different amount of requirements. You might want to have less. You might want to have more. This is how much it takes for each one. Now with the lectern here, this has to be any workstation. It's not just a lectern. Each villager will take a different job depending on the workstation it has. So the lecterns are generally the most common because they give you the enchanters, they give you the librarians, and you need probably more of these than any other. In this box, I just have the standard usual building blocks. These can be whatever blocks you're building with, however you want to make it look. And this is all we need. So I'm just going to pop over to my other world to give you a bit of an idea of what we're doing. So this is the kind of thing we're looking at. This is kind of how the trading hall can look. So what we've got is we've got our villager here. We have one trapdoor there, one trapdoor there, one trapdoor behind him, and one trapdoor here. This is the workstation. As I mentioned, each villager will need their own workstation, depending on who they are and what they're doing. And the two carpets we need are, I don't know if you can see through the gap there, but the two carpets are for the villagers to stand on. In fact, let's have a look. I think I've got an empty one. Here we go. So the two carpets are here, and the slab is at the back there. As you can see in the background here, we also have a zombie, and this zombie is what we use to turn our villagers into zombies and to cure them afterwards. And that allows them to drop their price because they're so grateful to us. They don't know our dirty little trickery. And eventually, if you trade them enough, you can get them down to 1 emerald permanently, depending on what their starting price is. So what we have here is we have these trapdoors to block view between the two. We have the trapdoor at the back, which blocks the zombie's sight, but we can click on the trapdoor to open it, and that allows the zombie here to see the villager and to turn him into a zombie. He's got a sword, so it happens much quicker than normal. And the one at the top here is basically just to hold him in, to stop him jumping around. This trapdoor is to prevent things like baby zombies jumping on top. So here, I mean, yeah, we have a kind of a roof, but if you don't have this bit here, because this block is technically one block tall, if you have any baby zombies coming around, they can jump on the block here, especially if it's something like these ones. As you can see, these are definitely one block tall. A baby zombie can jump on this, they can get into there, and they can kind of ruin everything because they can just keep turning these guys into zombies over and over and over. So that is what that one is for. Now, as you can see, these librarians, they cost 1 emerald because they've been cured a few times. And it gives you pretty much every enchant in the game. You can get everything you want from these guys, except for some of the new enchants like Swift Sneak. That is specifically from certain areas of the game, but I'm not going to go into that now. So you get loads of enchants there for your gear. And as you can see, my gear has got kind of all this stuff on them. These guys over here, again, axe and sword, full set of armor, and the other tools as well. So you can get all the tools you need from these guys without having to go mining for more diamonds. Now, when I say it depends on what their starting value is, I think it's like 21 or something. Anything that's from 21 or above, or below, sorry, you can discount down to 1. So as you can see kind of here, these guys can't go down to 1 because their starting value is too high. But these guys, as you can see, 1 emerald. Now, to get emeralds, there are Plenty of ways of doing it. These guys, I like to have the paper trade here because we have a sugarcane farm, which gives us loads of paper, loads of free emeralds. The other thing you can do is these guys. So these guys will take vegetables, and they will take melons and pumpkins as well. And this is probably the better way to make emeralds, using the emeralds and pumpkins, because you get so many of them and they're so easy to do. But another video in the future will be making these farms automated. So essentially you'll just have a chest full of these things all the time, and you just sell them. So that's how you get emerald, and that is kind of the idea we're going for. Super simple. Let's get back to it. Right, so we are back over here. Now, the first thing I want to mention is the white carpets, as to how we get white carpets. So wool and white carpets, which are made from wool, come from sheep. Sheep spawn in kind of the same places that cows do, and you can kind of capture them and breed them the same way you can with cows. They also use wheat, which is why I'm holding so many. And then all we need to do is we need to take our shears, which, to make shears, all we do is we take 2 bits of iron ingots and we stick them in a crafting table. Now, with the shears, you just right click and you trim the wool off. These sheep do need to be on grass to be able to feed. They have to be able to eat grass to regrow their wool. Once you've got loads of wool, then all you need to do is again pop this into a crafting table, and as you can see, we've got some more wool there. So I'll be back in a second. I'm just going to stock up on these. I'm going to look to have about 20 villagers, I think. I'm just going to have the most important enchants and the equipment. Yeah, I think I'm going to go for about 20. I'm going to put in 20 trade hall positions, and then if I don't need to use them, then I'll just have spares. If I do need to use them, or if I need to expand, that is not a problem to do. I'm probably not going to have 20 of these because I want some equipment guys and I want some farmers. So I'm going to leave these bits for the moment and I'll craft them as I need them. But these bits I'm just going to go and collect now. Now, the actual mechanics of these trading halls are really easy. The first thing to note is that villagers will lock out their trades after a certain amount of trades, and you have to wait for them to unlock. Them to unlock, all they need to do is be able to access their workstation. The easiest way you can do it at a trading hall is just to have something like this. You can literally have a villager stuck in here with a workstation in front of him, and that's it. He'll always be able to reach his workstation and always be able to refresh his trades. The reason we don't do this, or I'm not in this case, is because, as I mentioned earlier on, there's another mechanic with a zombie in the background. So if the zombie turns a villager into a villager zombie and you cure them, they're grateful for that, and they reduce their prices by quite a bit. So our trading hall, and I suppose I can just stick it here, I guess. Our trading hall allows room in the back for a zombie to be there. So you kind of have control about that. You can use the zombie there to turn them into villager zombies, and then you can cure them for discounts. And we'll go over the cure in a little bit. So the first thing to note is that each villager needs a space of 1 wide by 3 high by 3 depth. So I guess what I'm going to do, I'm only going to go to 18 actually. I'm going to have 6 that way, 6 that way, and 6 that way. And that's going to be my trading hall. So I'm just going to build up a quick building using our optional building blocks, and as I mentioned, these can be any blocks you want to build with. I'm only using oak here because that's pretty much all I've got. I haven't been off adventuring anywhere. I haven't picked up any other trees. I haven't got any other wood, so I'm just going to use oak, and I'll be back in a second. Right, so this is 1 bit done. I have 6 villagers across. The reason I choose 6 is because that's how far a splash potion will reach. So when you do turn them into zombies, you can then easily and quickly cure them in a bulk. So we have 6 across, we have 3 deep, and we have 3 high. I'm just going to do this again, round this way. Right, so this here is going to be my trading hall. I've got 18 villagers here. If I need more, then I'll have to extend it, I guess. Or maybe do another level, maybe? I don't know. 18 should be enough. That's all I'm going for. I'm only going for the important enchants. I'm going for equipment, and I'm going for food. So to get started, we need our carpets and our slabs. So in the back here, we break one down, put down a slab. In front of that, we break one down, and we put 2 carpets. And that's all we're doing right across, like so. Then we take our trapdoors, and we have to go in. We have to look forwards. We put one on the roof, put another one on the roof, open the second one, take down the first one. And what this allows us to do is, it means the trapdoor is on this side. If we put down the roof from looking in, the trapdoor goes on the back, and that doesn't work. This trapdoor is here to block the line of sight of the zombie. So because they are kind of half a block up, their line of sight is blocked. But when we open the trapdoor, they can see the villager, and they can do their thing. That's all we need to do for that bit. The next thing we need to do is we need to just put loads of trapdoors on the side, like so. And this is a bit that keeps the villagers from seeing each other. The next thing we need to do is we need to take our trapdoors again. We need to look at the back block in the lower half. We press shift. We place one down. This one puts one at the back, and we do it again to put one at the front. And this is so this opens up this way, and this is how we get our villagers in, and then we can lock them in. You have to press shift, because if you don't, like the first one you put down places it, and then the second one just opens it. So you press shift, put the roof on, put them all in. We then have to go in the back and break those ones we've just put in. There's no reason to break these ones, except for resource conservation. They don't need to be there, so you might as well break them. And essentially, that's the first part done. All we need now is we get our lectern, we put that down, we get another trapdoor, we put it on top, and then all we need is the village to go in there, which we have loads of. So 2 seconds, I'm just going to run around and do all these, and that's it. And that is our trading hall built. So the next thing to do is get our villagers in. Now there are 2 ways to do this. If it matters to you where your villagers go, and it does for me because I'm OCD, librarians have to be in alphabetical order, and the other bits need to be at the end here. Then, for me, I'm going to roll their jobs in there. If it doesn't matter to you where they go, then you can just roll them out here and drop them in wherever you want. So I am going to roll out here, which means I do need that lectern. And then to roll jobs, all we do is put it next to him, and you see how he picks up the job. Now, what I want in here is, the first one I want is paper trade for emeralds, because I have a whole load of paper and I need a whole load of emeralds. The second one I want is an actual good enchant. So I'm just going to do this until I get one, which is just a case of break, replace, check, break, replace, check. And this can go on for some time. Probably the most important enchant to get, and I mean, you'll want to get all of them because they're all important. But I think the most important one is mending. What mending does is mending you can put on all your equipment, all your tools, and it causes experience that you gain to heal your equipment. And since we have a mob farm up there, experience is really easy to come by. It is a bit slow, admittedly. We want to do a new XP farm in future, but it's better than nothing. It makes it really easy to do. Right. So I will be back in a bit. Well, it'll be a second for you. It'll be a while for me, I imagine. Efficiency is one of the things we want, but efficiency can go up to level 5. So I only want efficiency 5. The other thing as well, and again, this is my OCD, is I want the cheapest possible trade within an acceptable range, I guess. They're obviously a lot more expensive when you get to higher levels, and they're a lot more rare when you get to higher levels as well. So not only do I have to get efficiency 5, I have to get efficiency 5 for like under, let's say 20. So just while I'm rolling these, I'm just going to go over what kind of prices you can expect to see. Now the cheapest for a level 1 enchant is 5 emeralds. The cheapest for a level 2 is 8. Cheapest for a level 3 is 11. Cheapest level 4 is 14. And cheapest level 5 is 17. This is true of all enchants except for two. These two are Mending and Frostwalker, and that is because these are known as treasure enchants, which means their prices are doubled. The cheapest you'll ever see Mending is 10. Cheapest you'll ever see Frostwalker is 10. However, I don't think anybody actually uses Frostwalker, so it doesn't really matter. But Mending, if you can get as close to 10 as you can see, that is really good. The only other thing you want to get is one villager with a bookshelf trade, with an enchant you want and a bookshelf trade. Because these lecterns use bookshelves to make, and if you can buy them, it's just much better to do. What you don't want to do though is take one of these trades, because there's a wasted slot here. Although you can level them up and get more enchants in the list, this is kind of a wasted slot. So the other thing I should say about this is that to keep a villager's trade, you have to actually lock them in. If you don't lock them in, and if you leave the area, or if you log out, or if for some reason they unlink from their table, they can lose that trade. So make sure you have some paper on you, so that when you get something you like, you can lock it in. You see how he loses his job when I'm breaking the lectern here? Once he's locked in, that doesn't happen. See, this is the perfect villager for us. So what we have here is we have one that gives us diamonds for paper, and we have this one that gives us Aqua Affinity, which is an enchant we actually really want, for as cheap as it can possibly be. So it can't get any cheaper than 5. So this is the perfect villager for us. So to lock him in, all we have to do is make one trade. So I'm just going to buy 1 emerald there for this piece of paper. Now when I break this, he keeps his job. He no longer changes back. Then all we have to do is we have to take our rails and just lead him into whichever pod he's going to go into. The other thing we have to do here is we have to actually lift him up a few blocks. And that is just so we can actually drop him in, open the lid there, push him up. Now, the other thing we want to do before we let him out is we want to kind of trap him in this area. So I'm just going to do a little barrier here. I'm going to look at this trapdoor next to him. I'm just going to block us both in. So now he can't escape. I'm going to break the minecart. I'm going to push him in. I'm going to drop the roof. Break all this. And this is our first villager done. The only thing we want to do before we break this is get our trapdoor and just pop it down. And once we break this block then, it means he's trapped and he can't run away. And then we just get our lectern, we pop it back down, he links back to it, and we have our first villager trader. Obviously with things like the farmers, which will go in this side, they're much easier to do. There's not a lot of rolling for those. I like to have one with 2 of the 4 vegetables, and I like to have the other one with the other 2 of the 4 vegetables, which means for the 4 auto farms we'll have later on, we can trade them all. The other thing I like to do with these myself, and this is out of the optional block again, this is not something that you actually have to do if you don't want to, is I'm just going to make a sign. I'm going to make a stair. I'm just going to pop the stair down. I'm going to pop a sign up. And I'm going to say Aqua Affinity 5 emeralds. It's just so I know which one is where. I can just run in. I can have a quick look around to see which one is the one I need. And there we go. So that is done. As I mentioned, the rest of these will be done the exact same way. You get a villager with the trade you want, and you roll them in. The only thing we have remaining is to get the zombies in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to break through the wall here. Now this is the third one. This is the back wall, the third one, not this one here. We don't want the villager running away. So the first one is the station. The second one is villager. The third one is where the zombie is going to go. So all we're going to do is we're going to try and find ourselves a zombie when it turns to nighttime. We're going to run in here. The zombie's going to chase us. We're going to put our shield up. We're going to run through him. And we're going to block him in. And then we're going to give him a sword so he can turn the villagers into zombies quicker. So I'm going to wait for it to be nighttime and I will be right back. I suppose while I'm in here I can quickly show you the idea of this. So if I were a zombie, right now I can't see that villager because this trapdoor is blocking my line of sight. If I open this trapdoor, I can see him. He can't fit out the back here because he hits his head on this roof. He's too high up. He can't get out because he's trapped in by the trapdoor. But the zombie can see him and can turn him into a zombie. To protect him, we just turn this down again. And the zombie can't then hit him. The other thing you can do, if you want the zombies to hit each other, so we've zombified this guy, we need to turn these guys into a zombie as well, is you can put this down. And this then allows him to see him, and he can turn him. Again, same thing here. He sees him, he turns him. So, I will be back when it is nighttime. I'm actually going to keep rolling some more villagers until it is nighttime, as otherwise it is time wasted. The other thing it's worth doing while we're actually doing this is trading paper for emeralds as often as you can. Oh, it's nighttime now, which is handy. And this will let you build up a nice stockpile of emeralds, so that if you get a good trade with a bookshelf, you can take that straight away to lock it in. So, I turned it off to do a bit of editing and see how it was going so far. I've come back in, and my villager's gone. This isn't something to worry about in your game. At least I don't think it is. Villagers shouldn't just despawn like that. They never have before. I've never seen this happen before. It's not something for you to worry about. But I wanted to kind of show it because in the next clip, there's not going to be a villager here. Whether we're going to be going out to get a zombie, I'm going to put him in here. This is going to be empty. So I just wanted to show that quickly. I suppose while I'm doing this, I should also mention, and I'll get crucified if I don't mention this, the most efficient way to get emeralds to start with is actually to have a Fletcher. If you have a Fletcher sat in your hall, it will take sticks. And sticks are so easy to get because we've got so much wood. So that is a really quick way to build up a lot of emeralds. But I don't really like doing it because it's only really good for kind of starting out. And it kind of takes up a spot in the hall that I don't want to spare. Okay, so Sweeping Edge 3 is another one that we actually want to keep. So I'm going to lock it in by trading for a single emerald. He keeps his trade, and I'm just going to pop him into his spot over here somewhere. So I have tested with that one. I did log out, log back in again, and he is still there. I don't know what happened with the Aqua Affinity guy. It's not normal for a villager to disappear. But we keep going until it's nighttime. Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Mending a 10 with a paper trade. I'll have that. Thank you very much. He's going into here. Right, so as we go searching for zombies, two things we should note. Firstly is that they cannot cross minecart tracks. So we have to break that to let them in here. Secondly is that because they are a hostile mob, they can and will despawn regularly. We can prevent this, and we can do this in two ways. The first way is to name tag them. Now, name tags are quite difficult to get at this stage of the game. You can find them exploring, you can find them in things like mine shafts and things like that. Or you can actually get them by trading, but they're quite a late trade. So because we're not there yet, it's not available to us. We can't do that. The second way to prevent something spawning is to make it pick up a block. So what we can do here is we can find a zombie, and if we throw this block at it and it picks it up, it's one we want. Once it picks up a block, it cannot despawn. What it also means is that it will pick up a sword, and we want them to have swords because it means they hit harder and they convert villagers quicker. So let's get rid of this guy. This guy picks up a block. This guy's no good. Right, perfect. So this guy's got a block. That guy behind him's got a spade. So we want to be quick about this. I'm going to get the first guy in here. Shield up. Lock him in. Right, so that's one. This guy's got a spade. In fact, we can use him as well. We can get him in behind. So what we'll do with this guy is we'll drag him around the back. So this guy comes in, shield up to block the attack, run through him, block him in. Perfect. And all we need, if we can, is to find a third one. In fact, what I'll do is I'll break the wall here in preparation. Right, okay, so the front one here, got a seed. So, we run down the back here, we do the same thing again, get our blocks ready. So that's 3 guys in. There's one there, there's one there, and there's one there. So all we need to do now is we need to give them an iron sword each. And by holding an item, they should not despawn. And by having a sword, it means they convert the villagers nice and quickly. So for that, we need 6 pieces of iron. I must have 6 pieces of iron. Come on. Yep, plenty. And some sticks. And yeah. Easy. 3 swords. 3 swords. Now what they should do is zombies will pick up the item with the highest attack. So if I throw this sword at him, he has swapped it over. And then we do the same for this guy over here. Now he should swap that spade he's holding because he's got a sword in there. And then this guy as well. Perfect. They actually want the one back. Now he should be swapping his shovel for that sword, but he doesn't seem to be. I think the only other way to do it is to give him a diamond sword, but I don't want to do that, so I'll wait and see what happens, and if he despawns, I'll just grab another one. So that is pretty much the trading hall done. That is everything you need. You've got your villager breeder to bring them in here, you've got your pods to stick them in, and if you want to turn them into a zombie, you just open the back door. You see the zombie now is tracking this guy. And he hits him. I'm just going to block the line of sight so he doesn't actually turn him now. But you can see it was hitting him there, and that's how he turns him. And then all you have to do is cure him. Right, so I've been trading for some emeralds. I've made myself a book. And all you have to do is just buy it. Easy. To apply it, you need an anvil. Pop it on the left-hand side. You pop the book on the right-hand side. And as you can see at the bottom there, it applies the enchant. And that's it. Once you fill out your trading hall, you get all the enchants you want and all the gear you want. Super easy to do. So here we are now. We have a fully fleshed out trading hall after many hours of re-rolling trades. So, as you can see, these are all the enchants that I consider important. I don't have any enchants for things like bows, which are probably equally as important. But I've got things like this bow, just from combining bows from up there. So really, enchants are... I mean, you can get them if you want them. I would highly recommend that you actually kind of plan out your trading hall, especially if there's only so many seats. And with this, I've got kind of what I would consider kind of the best stuff in the game. You kind of got unbreaking and mending on every piece of equipment. You've got bits and pieces on everything else. But this episode has gone on way too long. Originally, I was only planning for kind of a 15 minutes, considering how easy it is to actually build this hall. But we're going on 30 minutes here, so I'm going to end it here. And what I will do in the next episode is how to actually cure these guys. Because I've mentioned a few times how the zombie in the back will convert them into zombie villagers, and you cure them to drop their trade prices. So I will go over that in the next episode. So thanks for watching. Do all the stuff below, and I will see you next week.